In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
The judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case.
Y'all, can you believe what's happening to him? The man who once had it all, the red carpets, the untouchable fame, the fortune that made us all green with envy, Diddy's now fighting for his very survival in the most horrifying place imaginable. A detention center of all places. Like, we're talking about Diddy here. The same man who practically owned the music industry is now trapped in a nightmare so dark and twisted even his ride or die fans are struggling to wrap their heads around it. Gone are those fabulous days of private jets. Remember those Instagram posts? Those legendary parties we all wished we could attend, and those designer suits that made him look like $1 million. Now, he's surrounded by cold, harsh walls with whispers of conspiracy following his every move, and honestly, there's this terrifying possibility that he might never escape the system that seems determined to destroy him.
Just incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent till proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty. When you have this much...
You won't believe what I'm about to tell you about his time at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and trust me, it's absolutely shocking. This place, it's notorious for being absolutely dreadful, and our once flashy mogul, the man who literally oozed charisma and larger-than-life energy, he's completely unrecognizable. I'm talking gaunt, gray-haired, and looking utterly broken. The inside reports are just heartbreaking. Imagine seeing someone who seemed absolutely invincible reduced to barely a shadow of who they used to be. During his recent court appearances, and I know someone who was there, he looked astonishingly thinner. Can you imagine? As one journalist so perfectly put it, and this just gives me chills. The man who once flaunted a lavish lifestyle now looks astonishingly thinner, which is perhaps expected after months in a federal detention center. Let me tell you about the nightmare he's living in, because it's absolutely horrifying. This Metropolitan Detention Center, inmates are calling it hell on earth. And honey, they're not exaggerating. The place is severely understaffed, overwhelmingly crowded, and don't even get me started on the maintenance issues. These poor souls are freezing their behinds off in winter, practically melting in summer, and the living conditions, they'd break anyone's spirit. Just imagine Diddy, who used to live in literal mansions and only stayed at the finest hotels, trying to survive in these conditions. The adjustment must be absolutely devastating.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
But wait, it gets even worse. If you can believe that, the conditions aren't even the scariest part. I'm hearing these absolutely chilling rumors from inside the prison that he's being deliberately targeted. Can you even imagine? They're saying his food is being tampered with. I mean, how terrifying is that? He's so scared that he's refusing to eat the prison meals and surviving on commissary snacks instead. What a far cry from those gourmet meals he used to post about. And get this, a prison consultant who knows their stuff suggested that Diddy's fears aren't just paranoia. They said something that sent shivers down my spine. Imagine if someone out there wanted to send a message. They wouldn't need to break in, they just need to find the right person on the inside. And honey, being famous behind bars, it's like having a giant target on your back. Everyone, the guards, the inmates, even the staff, they're all watching his every move. Some are going out of their way to make his life even more miserable, while others are spilling all his private struggles to the media. The public just can't get enough of this drama, and believe me, there's plenty to go around.
Interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
Now let me tell you about what's happening to him mentally, because it's absolutely heartbreaking. Sources inside, and trust me, these are reliable, say he's becoming increasingly paranoid. That confident swagger we all knew him for, gone, replaced by this constant cloud of anxiety that follows him everywhere. He's basically become a hermit in there, avoiding other inmates like the plague. And honestly, can you blame him? Those prison walls must feel like they're closing in tighter every day, and the whispers of betrayal and danger, they're only getting louder.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
You won't believe how desperate things have gotten. His attempts to get bail shut down every single time. He's told his legal team the place is literally unlivable. And these aren't just empty words, people. His lawyers have been fighting like crazy to get him out, arguing that nobody should have to endure these conditions, especially someone trying to prepare for such a high-stakes trial. But these judges, they're not budging an inch. They keep bringing up these concerns about witness tampering if he goes back to that gorgeous Miami mansion of his.
They're going to try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
The desperation in his legal moves is just painful to watch. His team has literally tried everything. They've begged the Bureau of Prisons, they've pushed for transfers to other facilities, but nothing's working. And here's the really juicy part. Some people are saying this might not be just bad luck. What if keeping him right where he is, vulnerable and isolated, is exactly what someone wants? Meanwhile, outside those prison walls, oh honey, the reactions are all over the place. Remember how polarizing he always was? Some called him a genius, others said he was ruthless. Now that he's facing these consequences, his critics are practically dancing on his grave. The whispers of schadenfreude are everywhere, especially from those claiming he wronged them in the past. Someone who wanted to stay anonymous, and I totally get why, actually said he's finally getting what he deserves. And let me tell you, the way they said it, you could tell they'd been waiting for this moment.
Diddy will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Not everyone's celebrating his downfall. Some people are actually feeling sorry for him. I mean, think about it. This isn't just another story about a fallen star. It's a wake-up call about how quickly power can slip through your fingers and how fragile human dignity really is. Watching him waste away in that horrible place has some people wondering if the punishment fits the crime. Like, how much suffering is enough? When does justice become plain cruelty? And let me tell you about his appearance now. It's absolutely shocking. He's losing weight so fast it's scary. His muscular frame, gone. Now he's just this frail shadow of who he used to be. During court appearances, his clothes are practically hanging off him. Such a stark contrast from those perfectly tailored suits we used to see him in. His face looks hollow, his eyes are sunken, and when you look at them, God, all you see is this haunting mix of fear and giving up.
Every jail is bad. Some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail.
The concerns about his health are getting serious, y'all. Sure, his legal team keeps insisting he's mentally sharp and focused on his defense, but others aren't so sure. Some are wondering if he's even in any condition to handle his upcoming trial. Between the stress and what this place is doing to him physically, people are starting to wonder how much more he can take before something breaks. But you know what's fascinating? Even with everything stacked against him, people can't look away. Everyone's waiting with bated breath to see what happens next. Will he rise from these ashes like a phoenix? Or is he going to become just another cautionary tale about how the mighty can fall?
There's no way. They can't move him to the general population. And would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to, they want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
now let me spill some serious tea, because this story, it's far from over. Behind the scenes, there's so much happening that would make your head spin. We're talking secrets being kept, alliances being tested, and stakes that couldn't be higher. Because in this world of power and influence, what you see isn't always what you get. But here's the really juicy part. What if Diddy's downfall isn't just about what he allegedly did? What if there's something way darker going on? The conspiracy whispers are getting louder by the day, and they paint this absolutely chilling picture of a man who might be fighting for more than just his freedom. We're talking about his life here. Could it be that he's caught in this massive web of betrayal with powerful people pulling strings from the shadows? Let's dig deeper into this mystery that has even his most loyal fans questioning everything they thought they knew.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Oh, honey, let me tell you about the real tea behind every great empire. There's always this network of protectors, these shadow players who keep the powerful on top. For years, Diddy seemed untouchable, right? He built this incredible fortune, mastered reinvention, and shut down his critics with pure success. But here's the scandalous part. Some are saying this success wasn't all his doing. Word has it that some seriously influential figures helped push him to the top. And trust me, they had their own reasons for wanting him there. These untouchable elites supposedly kept him safe from all sorts of scandals, legal troubles, financial mess-ups, personal drama. He always came out smelling like roses. But here's where it gets really juicy. What happens when your protectors decide it's time for you to fall? Some insiders are spilling that Diddy's current nightmare is actually a calculated betrayal by these same shadow players. The theory? Diddy knew too much. We're talking seriously damaging secrets that could bring down more than just his empire. For years, he played ball, keeping those secrets buried in exchange for protection. But something changed. Maybe he stepped out of line, maybe he became a liability. Whatever it was, the same people who once had his back are now allegedly orchestrating his downfall.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
Now, this next part is absolutely chilling. People are saying his legal troubles are just the tip of the iceberg. Apparently, this whole arrest and detention thing, it's part of a bigger plan to shut him up before he can spill what he knows. A former associate, who's obviously staying anonymous, can you blame them, said Diddy was getting super paranoid in the months before his arrest. He knew something was coming, they said. He started talking about how he couldn't trust anyone anymore, how he felt like he was being watched. The timing of everything just makes this even more suspicious. Just weeks before they arrested him, word on the street is that Diddy was working on this tell-all project. And let me tell you, it was going to expose everything about the entertainment industry's dirty little secrets. People are saying this was the final straw, the moment when the powers that be decided he had to be stopped. Can you imagine how terrified they must have been when they found out Diddy was ready to spill all their secrets?
To have them cooperate and testify against Sean Combs, or whether down the line there'll be additional charges and additional defendants on the indictment.
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any more scandalous, let me tell you what happened next. Apparently, just days before his transfer, Diddy handed this corrections officer a piece of paper. But this wasn't just any paper. It was a list of names, honey. We're talking high-profile politicians, executives, and even some of his former friends in the music industry, all allegedly involved in this massive web of corruption. The implications? They're absolutely earth-shattering. If what Diddy's claiming is true, this isn't just about the charges he's facing. They're trying to silence someone who knows way too much.
Maybe some solution where his money could help us craft. I mean, he could build a separate jail cell, and we could keep him there. Just interesting to me that they sort of said, nope, you're going to be treated not like everybody else, but a lot like everybody else. Having money doesn't do it. So I wouldn't want to be those judges.
Now here's where it gets really dark. How do you silence someone as high profile as Diddy without raising suspicions? From what I'm hearing, every single aspect of his detention seems designed to break him down. They're keeping him in isolation. There's all this scary business about food tampering. It's absolutely terrifying. A prison consultant who knows all about the Metropolitan Detention Center said something that sent chills down my spine. They said it's a place where anything can happen if you know the right people. And get this, they actually said Diddy's fears about being poisoned, while extreme, aren't totally crazy. When you're dealing with someone who has as many enemies as he does, they said, you can't rule anything out. Then there's this mysterious transfer to an undisclosed location. Sure, they're calling it routine, but honey, let me tell you what insiders are saying. Some think it's all about cutting him off from his legal team and support system, leaving him completely isolated before his trial. Others, they're suggesting something even more sinister, that they're keeping him alive, but only long enough to make sure he doesn't reveal any secrets.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
Public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
As we're getting closer to the trial date, the tension is absolutely unbearable. His legal team says they're ready to fight back, but even they seem terrified. One of his lawyers was overheard saying something that gives me chills. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a war. Meanwhile, everyone's taking sides. Some people see him as this tragic fallen hero who flew too close to the sun, while others think he's just a scapegoat, another victim of a system that destroys anyone who dares to challenge it.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
But let me tell you something. This story is far from over. The forces at play here are more complicated than any of us could have imagined. And the stakes? They're higher than ever. Everyone's asking the same question. Will Diddy rise from these ashes, or has his empire finally crumbled for good? The answers might just lie in those secrets he's been protecting. Secrets that could change absolutely everything. So what do you think, loves? Is Diddy's downfall just karma catching up with him? Or is there something more sinister going on behind the scenes? Could it be that the very same people who made him are now breaking him? Share your thoughts below. Let's get to the bottom of this together. Until next time, keep those eyes open and question everything you hear. Bye for now. You hear. Bye for now. You...